Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tacoma Cyclist. I am the Tacoma Cyclist, and today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the good hard workouts on Zwift. They're already built into this system. Um, I don't think it's any secret that I and a lot of other coaches and trainers think that these workouts can be some pretty bad workouts in general, but there are some hidden gems in here. So I'm going to talk through a couple of these and tell you why I think they're good workouts. I think I can tell you what I think makes a good workout and why some of these may not be the best choices for you. I will tell you, when you're selecting a workout on Zwift, to me, it's very important that you take a couple things into consideration while um, while selecting your workout. Number one, every workout that you choose on Zwift should have a purpose. If your goal is just to randomly hammer, then don't load a workout and just go into Zwift and have fun. Um, if you're just targeting like zone two for a day, there are some workouts that'll do just zone two stuff, and that's cool. But why don't you just find a group ride that's also targeting zone two, or maybe jump in with one of the pace partners and just ride with the pace partner. That's probably a little bit more interesting than following a specific workout. I think that the workout should be simple. Workouts from professional coaches are not complex workouts. If it's complex, you have to ask, going back to the first point, what purpose does it serve? Um, very random workouts don't serve a lot of purpose. Um, and it's got to be very important. You got to understand if you're spending this kind of time on a bike and you're trying to train and that workout doesn't serve a purpose and it's just random stuff, are you actually doing anything to improve yourself? For these to be, I'm focusing on hard workouts today. I'm going to have a separate video on good, easy Zwift workouts, which are harder to find, by the way. Um, in my opinion, a hard workout on Zwift really needs to be at least an hour. And when you take into consideration that a warm up needs to be about 10 minutes, a cool down needs to be about 10 minutes, give or take. You can do a few minutes less, a few minutes more, but it's got to be around that time. That really only gives you 40 minutes of workout time if you're talking an hour workout. And to be a challenging workout that's designed to make you grow, I really feel strongly that effort has to be of a minimum amount of time. So I'm only focusing on workouts that are 1 hour or more. So this less than 1 hour to burn category here, there's really not anything in here that blows wind up my skirt. And I feel if you're looking for a challenging workout, just skip it. I used to do John's mix and John's short mix all the time, and I thought those were cool and they were hard, but it doesn't serve a purpose. They're not simple, even though they're short, and they uh, um, they don't last an hour. So it doesn't meet a lot of the rules that I would put forth for a challenging workout. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of these that, in my opinion, are good, and I'll start from the bottom. And interestingly enough, I find that some of my favorite workouts actually come from this category down here, the mountain bike set, and under this ABSA Cape Epic. You can do these on a road bike. You don't have to do them on a mountain bike, but they are, they're mountain bike workouts designed to, I guess, prepare you for a race of some sort. Um, Out of this list, I really like this Cape Epic workout. As it says here, this may not be the most inspiring workout, but the stimulus we get from it will really help boost our endurance. That is true. So this is a zone 3 workout, and you're doing 15 minutes at zone 3 with very little rest comparison. This is a 3-to-1 ratio, 3 minutes, 3 times the amount of time uh, active versus rest. So in general, that's relatively fatiguing. And you'll see the stress points are 91 for an hour and 41 workout. I wouldn't call this a crazy difficult workout, but it um, certainly is challenging and really works on that endurance zone. So great choice for kind of a good mid-length difficult workout. You don't really get much of a warm down other than you get 10 minutes at kind of half of your FTP. You don't get any ramp down, which is perfectly fine. I think the ramp downs can sometimes be silly. Sometimes they start way too high and then they go way too low, and it's just not necessary at all. So staying here within this ABSA Cape Epic workout series, another one that I really like is this workout number 14. Now these are some high intensity intervals here, and we're talking zone 6 to zone 1. And they are, 1 minute duration of each, so 1-to-1 ratio of on power to off power. Generally, I like to see 30-second intervals versus 1 minute intervals, and I would probably just do twice as many of them. So there's 5 of them here. It's a 10-minute set. I would do 10 30 seconds and 10 30 seconds. But 5 1 minute and 5 1 minute, that's also good. These will be challenging. There's no doubt about it. These will be challenging. I like this warm up. It starts not terribly low. Some of these start in like 50-watt range, which is just crazy. And then it ramps up for 7 minutes. You got a couple lactate clearing leg openers here, and that's it. And then you're right into your HIIT intervals. Again, a relatively good exercise, not terribly hard overall, and they are going to ask you to focus on some cadence. Your stress points are 77. I will tell you, by the time you get to this third set of intervals, you really may be feeling the fatigue, and you're probably going to want it to be done. These 8 minutes of rest in between are going to be very welcome. Okay, moving out of this section right here, out of the mountain bike section, next I'm going to go to the 2018 PRL 46 prep. If I go down to week 4 here, I'm going to find an exercise called 3-in-1s number 2. This really is a great opportunity to focus on some zone 4 workout stuff. So this is just sub-threshold. I wouldn't call it sweet spot. It's a little too high to be sweet spot, but it's really just right at threshold. And you're dealing with a 3 on, 1 off. So it's a 3-to-1 ratio here of time on interval versus time off interval. And you'll notice that your time off interval is still zone 2. So by the time you're done this, you're going to be building up some fatigue. This first interval isn't going to be terrible. The second interval, you're definitely going to feel some fatigue. Now, I'm not a big fan of this warm down. I think it's silly to do a warm down where you start higher than what you finished. I think you should start roughly equivalent to where you finished and then work down from there, or really just stay at a lower power for a long period of time. Overall, this is a workout that breaks my 1-hour rule, but it is right at an hour. It's just under an hour, and it does give you an opportunity to really build up some fatigue while working on building that threshold. These types of exercises actually do a really good job at building threshold without really digging into your anaerobic zones. Okay, moving out of this workout here. Next, staying actually in the PRL 46 prep, we move over to week 7. And in week 7, we have day 6 Vo2 Max increase. Now this can be a brutal exercise. This is exactly 1 hour, and for an hour to have an 81 stress score is pretty solid. It's pretty intense. Again, standard warm-up. It goes right into some zone 4 work here, so just a little bit below your FTP. This is right in sweet spot, so 5 minutes of sweet spot. You get a nice 5-minute rest, and then it's followed up by a building of super threshold. So you get a little bit above your threshold here. And this is really taxing your anaerobic system. And that's the idea. We want to tax that anaerobic system from time to time. So 4 minutes above your FTP with a nice 50% rest here for 3 minutes. And each of your rests are going to be the same, 3 minutes here. But you're building a little bit at a time. 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes, and eventually 6 minutes above or super threshold. And then you just finish with a standard warm cool down. Again, I'd like to see this cool down maybe a little bit lower. I think once you're done this workout, it'd be nice to come back to your 3 minutes at 142 rather than cooling down at 200 watts to start and then dropping down from there. But the nice thing about this, if you're really obsessed with stars and getting those stars within Zwift workouts, this is a great opportunity because you can still get the star even on a ramp down, even if you don't do what the power is recommending. So if you'd rather go 130 watts or 100 watts or 50% of your FTP or whatever, you could do that and you'll still get your star. Your TSS score will be lower, but you're still getting that star. And honestly, a quality warm down, a cool down is far more important than getting that pesky, silly little star. Okay, moving right along from here, I'd like to move to the Zwift Academy 2017. And if we look in month one, which really is kind of all there is other than semifinals, we're going to look at zone 3 with sprints. I think this is a great workout overall. Definitely one that I would incorporate into my uh, regular training. It's challenging, there's no doubt about it. It's a nice long warm up that takes you all the way up into zone 4, though not very high into zone 4, but definitely into zone 4. 15 minutes of warm up. May seem a little obsessive, but again, it's a ramp up. And honestly, if you don't want to spend the entire time doing that, you'd rather just spin, you're still going to get your star. So don't worry about that. And then 5 minutes at really about half your FTP, which is great. And you're talking 5 minute blocks. So 5 minutes on, 5 minutes of rest here, followed by 5 minutes on. And this is good endurance pace work. So this is just going to build up your motor, your heart, your cardiovascular system. That's exactly what this is for. And you do this repetitively. Uh, the nice thing about these is really these 5 minute intervals, they go by relatively quickly. So as you're moving through these, you're progressing through the workout. This is a long workout. It's an hour and a half long, hour and 29. It's not going to feel that terribly long because these interval sessions, they go by relatively quickly. Then you have yourself a nice 10-minute block here. Really, they should have just kept this the same, 139 versus 133 in my case. It's 10 minutes of cool down essentially, and then it follows up with some sprint level efforts. And these are strong sprint level efforts. I mean, this isn't max sprint, but it's 15 on, 45 off. So 15 seconds of pretty hard all out sprinting, followed by 45 seconds of rest, and you do that 4 times through. You will be gassed. You will not have your anaerobic reserves at the end of this. You will be tapped out. And then you got yourself a nice 10-minute cool down. And I love that it stays in zone 1 for that entire cool down. It's just a nice way to cap that off. This, I think, is a great workout and definitely worth incorporating into your training load. I will tell you, I don't think that changing workouts all over the place is a great idea. You know, there's so many workouts to choose from here. You really don't need to have 20 different workouts in a month. You really could focus on doing 4 hard workouts, and that's 2 each week, and then recycle them a couple times, and then a few easy workouts and a few JRAs or just riding around in Zwift at low power. And that's a great way to cap off a month of training. You don't need a different workout for every day. You're not targeting anything specifically. In fact, you're actually just confusing your body and it doesn't know what to do. So if you want to focus on your engine, do some endurance pace or some zone 2 efforts or some sweet spot. If you want to focus on your anaerobic capacity, then you want to focus on some sprint drills. But don't just intermix a bunch of sprint drills in with your zone 3 stuff. It doesn't make any sense. Your body isn't going to be building all things at all times. It needs to focus on 1 or 2 things at a time. Okay, now my final plan here is in the 12-week winter plan, which of all of the plans on here, I think this is actually probably one of the better ones because it incorporates a build phase. You know, you start off really easy and you work your way up to slightly harder, and it doesn't overload you. And a lot of these are just ridiculous. I'm going to actually, before I show you the one that I'm talking about here, let's go to the GCN ones. I think these are just beyond ridiculous. These are complex. They don't really focus on anything of any specific value, and they're just a challenge. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Several of these are like that, and they don't work for me. I don't think they'll work for a lot of people. So let's get back to that 12-week winter plan. And week 9 is where we're going to look. And in week 9, we're going to look at the 3 by 20 minute SST high. Now, within this whole entire plan, there's a bunch of the 3 by 20 SSTs. A lot of them will work, but this is sweet spot that is at the high end of your sweet spot zones. Notice for an hour and 40-minute workout, your stress points are 123. That's a very challenging workout, and you never even go above your FTP. But I will tell you, these 20-minute blocks of sweet spot are going to suck. The only thing challenging about this is these 20-minute efforts, they feel long. So bear that in mind. They feel very long. So this is my top six. These are my top six workouts that I think that are available on Zwift right now. I've looked through all of these repetitively. I've done many of them. I've done uh, literally dozens and dozens of these workouts. And out of all of the workouts on Zwift, I feel that these are the best ones that are available for your more challenging workouts. Um, a lot of these don't make sense. A lot of them are just simply overly complicated. And frankly, a lot of these plans that are on here are just terrible. And in fact, I believe that a lot of them can just lead to uh, very, very dangerous injuries. So I'm not talking about the plans over here. I haven't really explored too many of those, but any of these over here, like Hunter's Challenge, I believe that if you were to do this workout series, you would injure yourself very badly by the end of the second week. So I would just avoid stuff like that. It's just silly. So those are my picks for the best hard workouts. I'm a big fan of creating your own, and I've put a link up here for some videos for a video that I have about creating your own workout, why you might want to do it. Other than that, I will post another video soon of a few of my favorite easier workouts on Zwift, and stay tuned for some additional content coming soon. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Very much appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. If you don't, go over to GCN. All right, thanks everybody, and I will catch you again soon. Bye.